Hey, what is up, guys? It is Harrison Barrett. Thank you guys so much for visiting my channel. As you guys can see, or may not see, I have a green screen behind me. If you look at my hand, you might see some green stuff in there. But in this video, I want to talk to you guys about how to really close deals and how to get people interested in your product on LinkedIn. I see this all the time. I just recently closed a deal on LinkedIn, and you're probably wondering, how do you close a deal on LinkedIn? There's so much out there on LinkedIn and on social media that you guys could be closing for business. So this video is going to just walk you guys through verbally how to close deals and how to create content for your target client. So right off the bat, number one is, who is your target client? If you don't know who your target client is, none of this video applies to you at all. You need to know exactly who your client is. I mean, their knowledge level, what industry they're in, who they typically buy from. Do you supply their needs, right? Does your product fit their needs? That is so critically important long before we go through this, right? Building that buyer persona is the most important thing you could absolutely do right now, today, before any action items come into play. If you do know who that is, think about what is the most important thing that they want to see, right? Is it education in their industry, right? If they're somebody that loves education, maybe they're in a white-collar job where they're trying to further their career regularly, right? Maybe that's your target market. Well, if that's the case, think about what they want. And then when you think about what they want, going forward is going to be way easier. So maybe they want educational material. Maybe they have a problem that you want to solve, right? That's a totally acceptable buyer persona. People buy from either people they know, like, and trust, obviously, but they either they buy for pain in the present, pain in the future, pleasure in the present, and pleasure in the future, right? Those are the four main reasons why people buy. So does your product solve something going forward, right? If they want to learn, well, does it solve their ability to learn more? If they're in pain right now, right? If a company isn't making money, they'll come to, a marketing company and say, hey, I need to make more money. This is what I have left aside. Can we make this work? Can we make these numbers grow? And it's going to be a yes or no answer. That's really it. That's pain in the present, right? Pain in the future, right? What happens if you don't do this today, right? If you're unhealthy and overweight and you don't start losing weight soon, does the chance of dying or being handicapped or something like that run, right? That's a totally viable thing. I know that sounds terrible and awful, but that's really the truth for some people. There's so many different reasons why people buy. So the next thing you have to figure out is, why are people buying from you? Does it make their lives easier? Do you solve an issue? If maybe it's a vacation, right? Maybe you're selling, pleasure in the future, right? That's a totally acceptable thing. But figure out what reason they're buying from you is. That is number two. Number three is start creating content that fits your buyer. It doesn't matter what kind of content it is. It could be a blog, it could be some simple little, maybe not even blog, maybe a paragraph, it could be a photo, it could be videos. I love videos, as you can tell. I'd much rather make 100 videos than write 100 blogs. It's really that simple for me. But I'm not everybody. For you and what your customer might want, they might want a blog. They might want an article written that tells them the advantages of your product or something like that. That's why they're going to buy. So that's number three, right? Creating that content towards your ideal client. And number four, this might be so silly to even bring up, but it has to be brought up, is you gotta get it in front of your target client. It doesn't matter what it is. And this is relatable to not just sales. This is relatable to getting a job, right? If you're looking to get a job, you still have to know what kind of job you want and what they're going to be interested in and all that kind of stuff to make content. And then how do you get it in front of them, right? So right off the bat, number one of my favorite ways to get it in front of people, start tagging people in your posts, right? If it's not your target client that you're tagging in your post, tag somebody that you guys have a mutual connection with, right? It's that connection between you and that person, and tag them in it, right? That person will more than likely like or comment on it, bringing up the probability that that other person will see your stuff. And now you've immediately added value, right? Because that person, what you're creating is going to be adding value to that ideal buyer. So when you do that, you need to make sure that whatever you're doing, whatever you're creating, is going to be going to that target person and figuring out how do you penetrate, how do you get to that person. So I love tagging people. Tagging people is a great way to get their attention. Even if you just want, like you saw on my post in the last video, there'll be a link up here, but I tagged Steve Odell in that video. When you tag somebody in there, they're going to see it, right? Steve commented on it, and immediately his entire network got to see it. So right off the bat, that's super powerful. Number 2, hashtags. Are there certain hashtags they're going to be looking up? Now, the older generation, especially when you're starting to get 40, 45, 50, even 55, 60, and nothing against those guys, they're not searching hashtags. They may, but the large majority is not. Especially even the younger generation, not the large majority is searching that. So you have to be very cognizant of, are they searching for hashtags? If not, how do you get in front of them otherwise, right? You could always send them a connection request. You could always send a little message in there. You could always send an in-mail on LinkedIn. But you have to think about what is going to be the most effective way. I love tagging people solely for the fact that it's a low-pressure sale. They have no interest in who you are, but when their friend comments or sees it and then likes it and they get a hold of it, it's a totally low pressure situation because they're not expecting it. They have no reason to expect it. And now they're seeing it, which is immediately bringing you higher in their status level and only going to build that trust a little better. So those are some tips and tricks that I've literally used to close deals, and this is stuff that I teach on a regular basis because it's so important for salespeople, right? You have to, it's basic sales. You have to identify your target market, right? And then you've got to start creating content for them. Figure out who they are, what kind of content they're going to digest, and then figure out how you're going to get it in front of them. Ads are another great way, but I'm trying to give you guys free ways instead of paid ways. Paid way is an ad. Groups are another great way to get in front of your target market, right? That's just another way. Maybe they're in a group. Do some homework. Maybe you know somebody and they say, hey, they hang out in this place. Go there, do your research, and find them, and you'll get lucky by bumping into them and making those connections and stuff like that. So I hope this video helps. My name is Harrison Marin, the Millennial Entrepreneur. If you have not already, hit that like, subscribe, hit the little bell so you never miss an update on how to crush your LinkedIn. But other than that, I'll see you guys on the next video. Till then, bye.